tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create my lounge pant pattern Beck, which includes an invisible elastic waistband and 2 side pockets. For all the pattern details, check out the below description, which includes all the equipment I use to sew this pattern and also a link for the PDF sewing pattern. I am using a lightweight woven fabric, which you can as well. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to the team down at Rathdown Fabrics and Remnants for providing me with the fabric to use and sew in this tutorial. Firstly, you need to assemble your PDF pattern. Before you remove your pins, make sure to cut all your notches. Remove your pattern and separate your pattern pieces. Pin your back and front pieces together, making sure that right sides of fabrics are together. Pin on the outer side first. Pin, making sure that your notches are matching. Sew the seam together using a 1.5 centimeter or 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure to back tack at the start to secure your stitch and remove your pins as you sew. Mark in your stitch line and create your pocket bag. Using your measuring tape, lining up with your side seams, measure up 12 centimeters. Mark your stitching line using a fabric marker. Create your pocket bag, sew along the stitching line and make sure to back tack at the start and at the end to secure your stitch. As you go through the process of making these pants, make sure to cut all loose threads. Now it's time for you to pin the inner leg. Match all notches, make sure crotch and hem lines match together. Sew your seams together using a 1.5 or 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Pin your crotch together. Pull one leg right way up and place inside the other, matching your seam allowances together. Pin, making sure you match all your notches. Sew your crotch together using a 1.5 centimeter or 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, removing the pins as you go. Make sure to back tack your stitching line at the start and at the end. Check your seam. Make sure your seam allowance at your crotch are matching. Pull the leg through from the other and check your crotch seam to see if it's matching. Now it's time for you to create your waistband. Measure your elastic around your waist and cut where it is comfortable with 2 centimeters or an inch either side to sew together. Pin the overlap ready for you to sew. Sew a box with a cross in the center to stabilize the elastic together. To create the elastic casing, measure along the top of your pant and times it by 2 to get the circumference. Using your leftover fabric, place your fabric on the fold and measure across half the measurement of your pant top plus your seam allowance. Your seam allowance is 1.5 or 5/8 of an inch. For the width of the elastic casing, it needs to be double your elastic width. I am using a 5 centimeter width elastic, which means that my casing will be 10 centimeters plus the seam allowance, which will give me 13 centimeters. Pin your fabric in place and cut out your casing. Fold your fabric right sides together and sew your casing together. Iron in half, ready to place your elastic inside. Place your elastic inside the casing, pin in place, making sure not to catch your elastic. Sew encasing your elastic inside. This will give you like a scrunchy effect with your fabric gathering. Attach your waistband to the top of your pants, making sure that your seam at the center back is matching with the center back of your waistband. Pin around the top, making sure that your waistband is even all the way around the top of your pant. Sew it in place using a zipper foot. Try to sew right up close to the edge of your elastic without catching it. Cut or loose thread. Now it's time to turn the elastic inside the pant, pinning to sew a ditch stitch to secure the waistband in place so it doesn't roll up. Turn your pants inside out and using your measuring tape, roll the hem up 3 centimeters, pinning around. Sew that in place. Give your garment a final press. You have now finished Beck the lounge pant pattern. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, do so, and I will see you next time for another sewing tutorial.